the Dolphins officially joining the NRL in 2023, we thought we'd take a look back at some of the Rugby League franchises that are no longer in the highest tier of Rugby League. For this list, the club must have played in either the New South Wales Rugby League, ARL or NRL competitions and have either been delegated from first grade or merged with another club, as this is greatest game of all, and these are 10 clubs that are no longer in the NRL.
Number 10, the Adelaide Rams. Founded in 1995, the Adelaide Rams lasted only 2 seasons in first grade, playing in the 1997 Super League, where they finished second last in the 1998 NRL season, finishing 17th out of 20 teams. Because of these low ladder finishes, the Rams didn't have the success they were hoping for, winning only 13 of the 42 games they played in the top grade, which is a win percentage of 31%. With their biggest win coming in 1998 over the Balmain Tigers, winning 52-0. They did have some star players like Kerrod Walters, who had the most appearances for the club with 41, Graham Appo, who scored the most tries with 12, and the second most points with 114, all within the 1998 season. At the conclusion of that season, due to a 51% crowd reduction, financial losses, and the NRL confirming they will cut the competition to 14 teams in 2000, they were cut from the competition, with their final win coming in round 20 against the Warriors.
Walters running and looking for support and finds Appo. Appo busting back through the middle. Has he got the pace to keep going? Has he won?
Number 9, the South Queensland Crushers. Lasting only 3 seasons in the top grade, the South Queensland Crushers came into the first grade scene in 1995 after their establishment in 1992 along with the Western Reds and the Adelaide Rams as part of New South Wales Rugby League's expansion for the competition. Unfortunately for the Crushers, they finished 16th out of 20 teams in 1995 and received the wooden spoon in 96 and 97, winning only 13 out of their 65 games, which is a club win percentage of only 20%. This, along with financial issues, was the main reason the Crushers played their final season in 1997, but they still had great players wear their jersey like Dale Shearer, Mario Fennick, and their one and only international Trevor Gilmeister. They finished with a huge win over the Magpies, which was their biggest winning margin as a club. Number 8, the Western Reds. The Western Reds were established in November of 1992, becoming the first and only first grade team based in Western Australia in Perth. Playing majority of their home games at the Wacker, they played their first season in the 1995 ARL competition and finished 11th out of 20 teams and won their first game against the Dragons.
There's Doyle, quick hands from Gyra, away to Horan. Horan's got heaps of pace on the inside of Boyd, and Boyd will score!
They dropped to 16th in the 1996 season, but they pulled off the biggest upset of the season by beating the first place and eventual premiers, the Manly Sea Eagles, whilst they were sitting in last place.
The shot at field goal, it looks good! I think it's there, the referee says yes!
Although they signed some star players like Mark Geyer, Brad Mackay and Julian O'Neill, the Reds exited the first grade competition after coming second last in the 1997 Super League season after going $10 million in debt. They did have 7 of their players go to the newly established Melbourne Storm in 1998, such as promising young players like Rodney Howe, Robbie Kearns and Matt Geyer, who were all squad members in their 1999 premiership season. Number 7, the Gold Coast Chargers. The Gold Coast franchise that had many name changes, which included the Giants from 1998 to 89, the Seagulls from 1990 to 95, and the Gladiators during the 1996 pre-season, and finally ended as the Chargers from 96 to 98, competing for a total of 11 seasons in the top grade. Although they had some brilliant players over the years, such as their most capped player Jamie Goddard, Dale Shearer, Wayne Bartram, Chris Close, and one of the greatest players of all time in Wally Lewis, the Gold Coast franchise struggled with on-field results, finishing in the bottom 4 on the ladder for 10 out of the 11 seasons they were in first grade, including 3 consecutive wooden spoons from 1991 to 1993, winning only 52 out of 244 games of their existence, which is a club win percentage of only 21%. They did, however, finish in 7th place in their most successful season as a club in the 1997 ARL, which included a minor qualifying final win over the Illawarra Steelers. Knowing that the NRL would reduce the competition to 14 teams in 2000, the Hunter Mariners, who were fighting for their own survival in the top grade, offered the Chargers' first pick at their playing staff a $5 million grant and a clause which included a number of Mariners staff, including the CEO. The Chargers sensationally turned down the offer, and due to this and many poor business decisions, led to their disbandment at the end of the 1998 season. To the delight of many fans, the Gold Coast Titans became a brand new Gold Coast franchise, established in 2007 and have been in the NRL ever since.
Number 6, the Newtown Jets.
Established in 1908 as a foundation club, the Newtown Jets were in the top grade for 75 years, winning 3 out of the 7 grand finals they played in, having success in 1910, 1933 and 1943. Frank Farrell played the most amount of games for the club with 223, Ray Preston scored the most amount of tries with 112 in only 118 games, and Ken Wilson scored the most points with 1,017. Other players such as Phil Singsworth and Tommy Rododicus were legends of the Sydney-based club.
Scrum only 5 metres out from Newtown's line. Rododicus is in!
The Jets were stood down from the New South Wales Rugby League competition at the end of the 1983 season after financial issues, and despite their many attempts to slide back into first grade, they haven't been able to make it back into the top grade and now act as a feeder club for the Sharks in the New South Wales Cup.
Number 5, the Western Suburbs Magpies.
Another foundation club established in 1908 as the Western Suburbs Magpies were in the top grade for 91 years, winning 4 out of the 12 premierships they played in, holding up the trophy in 1930, 1934, 1948 and 1952, but they also received 17 wooden spoons, which is the most of all time. They had quite a few representative players such as Frank McMillan, Arthur Summons, Paul Langmack, Terry Lamb, Les Boyd and Tommy Rododicus. Although the club was built on playing tough and aggressive rugby league with unusual pre-match routines of slapping each other in the face, the Magpies were struggling with on-field results in the late 90s, receiving the wooden spoon in both the 1998 and 1999 seasons, and with the NRL cutting their teams to 14 for the 2000 season, they decided to merge with the Balmain Tigers to create their own franchise called the West Tigers, with the Magpies becoming their feeder club. And speaking of, number 4, the Balmain Tigers. Along with the Magpies, the Balmain Tigers were a foundation club entering the comp in 1908 and merging with the Western Suburbs Magpies for the start of the 2000 season. They won 11 out of the 20 premierships they played in, which is the 4th most of all time, winning 5 out of the 6 seasons between 1915 to 1920, and also had success in 1924, 1939, 1944, 1946, 1947 and 1969. They had many star players don their black and gold jersey, including their most capped player Paul Sirenen, top try scorer Arthur Patton, highest point scorer Keith Barnes, Wayne Pearce, Benny Elias, Tim Brasher, Steve Blocker Roach and Gary Jack. Their famous home ground of Leichhardt Oval is still a first grade venue today, becoming one of the oldest rugby league stadiums in Australia, with its maiden first grade game being in 1934. As mentioned, they merged with the Western Suburbs Magpies to form what is now known as the West Tigers, who have also won a premiership in 2005 and continue to play in the NRL.
Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Richards pursued. He pushes Johnson away.
Number 3, the Illawarra Steelers.
After becoming the first non-based Sydney team to be admitted to the New South Wales Rugby League competition in 1980, the Illawarra Steelers began their first of 16 seasons in 1982. They unfortunately got the wooden spoon 3 times in their first 8 seasons, but they won the Tooheys Challenge competition in 1992. Michael Bolt played the most amount of games for the club, being 171, and club legend Rod Wishart scored the most tries with 68 and the most points with 1,044. Bobby Linder, Paul McGregor and Trent Barrett were other notable players who played for the club. They played their final match as a standalone club at the end of the 1998 season, losing to the Bulldogs by 1 point. They decided to merge with our next pick, being number 2, the St. George Dragons. The merge meant the club would be called the St. George Illawarra Dragons, but before the merge, the St. George Dragons were one of the most successful clubs of all time. Since their first grade establishment in 1921, they won 15 out of the 27 grand finals they played in, including winning a record 11 consecutive grand finals between 1956 to 1966, which was largely led by Norm Provan, Reg Gasnier, Johnny Raper and the top point scorer Graham Langlands.
Wearing a new pair of boots, Langlands has an opportunity of proving their worth. tackle right on the 25-yard line. He makes no mistake.
They played out of Kogarah Oval for a majority of their existence and continue to do so since the merge with Illawarra, along with Wynn Stadium at Wollongong. They also won 1 out of the 2 grand finals they played in since that merge, losing in 1999 to the Storm and beating the Roosters in 2010.
And the Dragons win the grand final 32-8.
And number 1, the North Sydney Bears. Established in February of 1908 as a foundation club and playing out of the famous North Sydney Oval, the North Sydney Bears were in the top grade for 90 years, winning 2 premierships in 1921 and 1922. The player with the most first grade games for the club is Greg Florimo, playing his whole 13-year, 285 game career at North Sydney. The great Ken Irvine scored 175 out of his first grade record 212 tries at the Bears, becoming their highest try scorer, with Jason Taylor scoring the most points, being 1,274. Ben Eichen, Martin Bella, Gary Larson and Billy Moore are a few representative players that got to play for this proud club. August of 1999 against the Cowboys would be their last match in first grade, which they ended up winning 28-18.
Across, Taylor, chits for himself, taken out, he scores, Jason Taylor.
With the NRL cutting the competition to 14 teams post-Super League war and the Bears having $4 million in debt and didn't meet the selection criteria, forcing them to merge with the Manly Sea Eagles, becoming the Northern Eagles. This unfortunately only lasted 3 years, with the Bears being unable to recover and prove to the NRL that they deserve their own club. They are now currently playing in the New South Wales Cup as a feeder club for the Roosters. So, what did you think of our list? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, chuck us a like on Facebook and this video, follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our channel for more Rugby League Countdowns.